In this video, I'm going to show you how to change an image's background in Photoshop. The first thing that I'm going to do is outline the entire skull with the polygonal lasso tool. When it's a complex shape like this one, I start in the center of whatever area I'm outlining just in case I accidentally double click and the outline closes in on itself. I'll speed up the video because this process takes some time. Alright, so here I accidentally double clicked and selected some negative space outside the skull. So I have to subtract from the selection, basically erase what I just did, and then go back up and select add to selection and start somewhere in the middle, overlapping what I've already selected, and then pick back up. I'm going to take this selection to the center and double click and then move up to the antler. I'm outlining the skull in sections because it's so easy to double click. This just makes the process a little easier. And I'll speed up the video again. Another way to go about this process is to select the entire image and then use the polygonal lasso tool to subtract from the selection. Basically carve out the object. Kind of the inverse of what I'm doing. It really depends on your preference and the shape of the object that you're trying to get an outline of. Either way is fine. And now I'm going to go back in and outline and subtract any remaining negative space from the main selection. Now that I've completely selected the skull and erased all of the negative space, I'm going to go up to the menu where it says Select, and then I will click on Save Selection. I'll name the selection Skull and press OK. So now it's saved and I can go back in and load that selection whenever I want to change the background. Now I'm going to increase the contrast of the shadows in the background using the Curves tool, which can be accessed from the Image tab in the main menu, then Adjustments, then Curves, or Command M if you're on a Mac. In the Curves toolbox that pops up, you will see shaded areas where the value of your selection is concentrated. So in this case, most of the background is a higher or lighter value, so the shaded area is concentrated on the right side. So in order to increase contrast, I need to drag down the left side of the curve, which will decrease the darkest value, and then bring up the right side of the curve, which will increase the lightest value. There are a couple of different ways you can go with the background, and I'll show them both to you. The first thing I'm going to do, however, is deselect the selection. And you can do that by going to Select, Deselect, or Command D. And now I'll go to the bottom right corner and create a new layer. And then I'll go up to Edit, Fill, and fill in with the foreground color, which I already made a dark brown. Then I'll go back to Selection, Load Selection, select Skull, and then press Delete or Backspace. And then I'll hit Command D to deselect, and then come over here and click Multiply to pick up on the shadows of this skull layer. The other way to create a background is to have a separate image like this wood background, which you can drag to this image and align with the edges. And then I'm going to come up, load the selection again, Skull, OK, Backspace, Command D, deselect, and then multiply again. So those are a couple of ways to change the background. If the original background behind an object isn't white with shadows, you won't need to use the multiply tool at all, so don't worry about it. I'll say that if you do take a lot of your own reference images, it doesn't hurt to make a habit out of taking photos against white backgrounds, so you at least have the option to use the shadows that objects cast if you ever want to. It's also just helpful to give yourself a light source and understand what kind of shadows an object makes. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments section below.